I'm Noé Fragoso. I am the managing broker and CEO of NF Properties. So initially, I didn't think about getting into the career necessarily. I just wanted to learn about real estate in general as a business. So I decided to take real estate classes to kind of learn how to become a realtor. I quickly found out that they never teach you anything in those classes about being a realtor. So I was able to get through it, and eventually I got my license. I found a mentor in the business, and he basically showed me what it takes to become a realtor. And as I was learning, just because I wanted to know about the business, I fell in love with it, and I found that it was something that I was good at, comfortable with. And then also a quick little fun fact of how all the majority of the millionaires on the Forbes list are one way or another involved in real estate. So that initially is what hooked me into it, and then I just fell in love with the business after that. So I initially got started, like I said, just by trying to get curious about it and wanted to take classes. And then when I actually got licensed, I reached out to a family friend who was active in the business, and I basically just told him that I wanted to shadow, work for free. So on the weekends when I had time off of work, I just essentially started following him. And just learning as much as I could, taking clients, taking documents off his desk, essentially just trying to make his life easier so I could absorb as much information as possible. At the same time, I started to kind of promote myself to my center of influence, the people that knew me, and letting them know that I was newly licensed and looking to help out in any way that I could. And people started to refer me and come to me for help in real estate. So that was initially my first couple of deals, my first couple of clients, and that's how I initially got started. So I am the oldest son, the only son. I have three younger sisters of two teenage parents that immigrated from Mexico. So I love them dearly. I love them to death. I'll do everything for my family. And as the oldest, I felt like I had a lot of responsibility to kind of, do right and do the right thing. They're Mexican immigrants, so then they always instilled hard work and education, and I tried my best to obviously do that for them. So I would go to school, try my best to get the best grades possible. I wasn't always the best student, but it wasn't for lack of trying. Eventually, I was able to get myself into college, and I was studying to be a high school math teacher, but unfortunately had to drop out due to having to help the family make ends meet. So I started working as a truck driver at that point. So my mom and dad, again, like I said, they were teenagers when they had me. My dad, I believe, was 18, 19. My mother was 15. When I was born, I was the oldest. And I have three younger sisters. One of them's 2 years younger, the other one 10, the other one 18. So my parents spread us out quite a bit. And like I said, I get along great with them. As my younger sisters, I feel somewhat overprotective, but I always tried my best to be a great example for them. So my first real estate sale was pretty interesting. So I had gone on a vacation, which at the time I don't think I've taken vacations up until that point, or at least not consistently, right? So I finally got the courage to go on a vacation, and when I was boarding the plane, I got a call from the attorney working the file and told me that we closed. So I was super excited. Obviously, it was my first closing. I was traveling while doing it, and I thought it was going to be like that moving forward. It was piece of cake, dream life. I'm going to become a millionaire. And after that first deal that went so smooth, I lost a handful of deals right after that. They all canceled for one reason or another, and I actually found out real quick that real estate is not easy. You actually have to put in a lot of work and effort into it. And then eventually those deals came back. We were able to close them. But the first one was the smoothest one till this day probably that I've ever had. I was super excited. Again, it was kind of like a culmination of a lot of hard work and sacrifice to do that first deal. And like I said, initially I wasn't interested in being a realtor full time, but when I made that first deal, it kind of opened my eyes to new opportunities, and it kind of allowed me to see like I could actually make a living doing this, and it's something that I'm good at, something that I have fun with, something that I enjoy doing, and why not pursue it a little bit further. So my biggest challenge, I guess, seeing that real estate is not as easy as it comes across to a lot of people. Initially, when I got into it, I thought it was going to be a lot easier. If you nowadays with social media, you see a lot of realtors being super successful. They have the nice cars, the nice houses, they travel. You see all the shows on Netflix about selling $1 million properties. And I thought it was going to be something like that. And in reality, it's nothing like that. There's a lot of hard work, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of sacrifices that you have to do behind the scenes, and just going through that day in and day out without really knowing the end result, because in real estate you get what you put into it. However, it is something that does take several weeks for it to actually come to fruition. So it is a lot of hard work and sacrifices that you have to make along the way. As a realtor, at least when I first got into the industry, realtors didn't have the greatest rep. You know, you were kind of compared to that sneaky car salesman. You know, it was that and a realtor right next to it. But when you think about it, being a realtor, you help people with, if not the biggest, one of the biggest assets that they have, which is a home. Financially, is probably one of the biggest purchases that they will ever make. And when you're able to assist people, whether it's their first home, second home, or purchasing an investment property, and actually help them build some sort of wealth for themselves and their family, one, you just see the emotions. Two, you see the struggles. There, you help them achieve such an important goal. And if you do it the right way, you build that relationship that leads to them even growing financially in the future, and obviously putting a roof over their family's head first and foremost. So that's always a special thing to be a part of. My new real estate brokerage, NF Properties, is unique in the aspect that we strive to not only help people buy, sell, and invest, but we strive to educate not only our clients but our agents on how to really build generational wealth through real estate and how to do that in a high successful manner. So I've been doing real estate since 2010. So it's been in the back of my mind for some time to make the move to be completely independent, open up my own brokerage, and essentially teach others to do what was taught to me. And I just felt that this was the time. I've achieved a lot of great things individually as an agent. I think I've come a long way from where I first started. And I felt that now was the time to kind of expand that and provide other people and other individuals with the same knowledge that I was provided, and help them grow their businesses, help them improve their lives, help them be a good, positive example for their family and their loved ones. So what inspired me the most was just that along the way I've been blessed to have amazing mentors throughout. And real estate is a very competitive, cutthroat business. There's a lot of realtors out there, and as a realtor myself, you do see that competition. And some people, unfortunately, are not the most open with providing some sort of mentorship or resource. However, there's a lot of great people out there that are open to providing that mentorship and guidance in some sort of way. And I've been blessed to run into those individuals that helped me grow my business as a result. And then as a result, my personal life improved, my business improved, my finances improved. So I figured that in order for me to do something like that, I would have to open up my own office so I could have some sort of system and structure in place for people to do the same. So my vision is to help as many people not only buy, sell, and invest in real estate, but again, to educate them on building financial freedom for themselves and their family. Not just clients either, but also potential people that are looking to make real estate as a future career for themselves. So starting out in real estate can be a very scary and daunting experience. There's a lot of unknowns, and it might cause a lot of people to take no action or take the wrong action. The best advice that I could give people that are starting in the business is to find a mentor. Either find a mentor that is willing to guide you and take you under their wing, or join a team that has this process and systems in place to guide you and show you the way of real estate without having to go through all the bumps and bruises yourself. So real estate has changed since I started, mainly by the technology that we have available to ourselves. The client nowadays is a lot of times more informed than we are about a specific property. So sometimes real estate initially, in the when I first got into it, it was kind of behind the ball in the technology aspect. So I think it's come a long way recently, especially now with the systems that we have available to us, the information that we have at our fingertips, easily accessible to everybody. And as an agent, it's our job to have as much of that information as possible and provide that to our clients so they can make the best decision possible. Also, social media has had a great impact in our businesses, which helps you promote yourself and get your brand and yourself as a business out there a lot easier versus having to do the old school type of thing of sending mailers or doing the cold calling sort of thing. Now you could actually put yourself in front of more people a lot faster with a push of a button on your phone. So I always pride myself on trying to always expand my knowledge in the market as much as possible. So not only do we obviously keep a close eye on the markets that we work in, but we always try to keep up to date with current events and how is the market trending, what are the newest technologies that are coming out that could affect our business, how can we use that to our benefit to provide a better service, a more quality service to our clients, and how can we use that to make our lives as realtors a lot easier. As a realtor, my proudest moment, I guess at this point, has been opening up my own brokerage. That came the year after I achieved the highest sales that I've ever did as an individual agent, which was a long goal of mine to do over 100 deals, and I was able to accomplish that. So by accomplishing that feat, I felt confident enough to then say, let me apply the systems and processes that I've learned along the way and help others by growing my team, growing a brokerage, and helping other individuals do the same in the near future. So yes, so my family, they're everything to me. So I have a beautiful wife that I love dearly. She means the world to me, just not only because obviously she is my partner in crime, but also because she supports me in all my business adventures and crazy ideas. We have two beautiful daughters that are 2 years old and 8 months. That's Sol and Luna. So I love them dearly, and they're my motivation to get up every morning to be the better version of myself. So my free time nowadays, I spend it a lot with the girls. So a lot with my daughters and my wife as much as possible. However, sometimes I do like to escape from family and business, and if I can, and just kind of enjoy some quality alone time. And my hobby is riding horses. So favorite book, I believe there's quite a few, but the one that had a great impact on me was The Alchemist. That was one of my favorite, and also Think and Grow Rich. So work-life balance is obviously a big topic for many of us, and I do believe, my personal opinion is that if you do want to achieve balance and it's either this or that, you're gonna have a really hard time balancing that out. I don't believe there is either a work or a life balance. You have to kind of combine both of them into one to find that balance, if possible, where you start to incorporate your life into your business and your business into your life, obviously within reasonable means. And what I mean by that is I believe you have to communicate with your family what you have going on with your business, and vice versa, communicate with your team, your employees, your coworkers, your partners on what you have going on in life. So then you are able to basically be present in both aspects, both business and personal. You're there, you're present, you're showing up 100% of the time without having to do this or that. Most people nowadays, I guess, don't really know that I was really shy and introvert as a kid. So as a kid, I always did not like being the center of attention. So doing something like this was extremely frightening to me. I want to say I just got over this a couple of years ago. Till this day, it's not normal for me to do this sort of thing. However, I do feel that I've come a long way by personal development, working on it. But as a kid, I was extremely shy, bad acne. I wasn't the most popular. I wasn't the most athletic. I didn't get all the girls. It was just, as a teenager, you go through all of those things. So as an adult, it was really hard for me to kind of come out of my shell. And now in business, my job depends on me getting people's attention and putting myself out there. So I think nowadays people see me doing that, and they don't associate me being a shy, quiet kid. Buying and selling your first home can be a very scary and nerve-wracking experience. The best advice that I could give anybody looking to do that is to simply go out there, find somebody that you can trust to provide you the information that you need to make the best decision possible. When it comes to doing a sell or a purchase for the first time ever, you want to just have confidence in what you're doing to make the best decision possible. And that confidence comes with having all the information available. And in order to do that, you need the right team on your side. So one thing that sets myself apart and my team apart from other realtors is the fact that we provide people with the information that they need. We're not here just to make a deal happen just for the sake of making a deal happen. We're here to provide quality service with results, but at the end of the day, we work for our clients' best interests. And the way that they are protected to perform and have success with their best interests is to have the information available to make that best decision possible. And that's our job, to provide you that information, to guide you step by step throughout the process so you can make the best decision possible. So clients' relationships I take very, very seriously. My whole business, my whole career has been built on referral-based business being the priority. So what I believe is that if I provide a quality service that gets you the result that you want, in the near future, you will refer me or call me to help you again. If I don't provide the best service possible, then that won't happen. So my thing is to be that source, to build that relationship by actually giving you the information, helping you achieve the results, and helping you have a great experience overall, where in the future you consider working with us again. So the current real estate market is always moving, and it can be very nerve-wracking because you hear so many things on TV, on radio, on social media about the market either being really, really good or really, really bad. And it's just one of those things that, again, if you just listen to the noise around you, it causes you to not take any actions. So what we do is constantly actually provide facts to our clients and be honest and truthful with whatever your scenario is. We'll get that information. We will find out what your motivation is, what you're looking to accomplish, and we will give you our honest opinion whether right now is a good time for you or if it's more convenient for you to wait. So again, just being completely honest and transparent and providing people with facts and information and have them make the best decision for themselves. I don't believe there ever is a slow period in the real estate market. I feel like people are always buying or selling in one manner or another. So when it's quote unquote slow, my job is again to look at the market as a whole and where is business going, how can people take advantage of any opportunity that's present, and obviously work on personal development on my own mindset, because I think that's what happens with a lot of individuals, a lot of realtors especially, that when the market quote unquote slows down, they take the foot off the gas, they stop, and as a result their business stops. And when you focus on you yourself and you take care of yourself first, your business will obviously continue to flow. So then always work on your personal mindset, your personal development, and then obviously be there for your clients so then you could be ready to help them take advantage of any opportunity. So when I first started, one thing that I wish I would have known is that it wasn't going to be easy. A lot of people say that real estate provides a lot of freedom to make your own schedule, and the reality is that yes, that can happen. However, that's something that happens when you have your business running on all cylinders. And in order for that to happen, you have to put a lot of work and sacrifice into it. So it is something that does take some time. Handling rejections and setbacks in real estate is actually part of our business. So the best way to handle them is to understand that a rejection and a setback it's a part of it. If you're not getting rejected, then there's a problem. You're really not doing your job. So understanding that it is part of the business is the first and foremost, and then just don't get caught up in it. Move on to the next one and get rejected again and again. But every no brings you closer to a yes. So my thing is to just keep going, put my head down, and get used to it. And eventually somebody's going to want my help, and that one somebody is going to be worth all the no's that you got along the way. So we're in an interesting time where I feel like every year there's a new app, there's a new something that's out there. So when it comes to marketing, just being aware of where people's attention is at is super key. So because at the end of the day, that's where our clients are at. So if people, initially when I first started, Facebook was kind of the thing. Eventually after that, Instagram became the thing. Now we have YouTube, TikToks, there's a number of apps out there. So how can those social media platforms help you put yourself out there? The first and foremost thing is that as a realtor, you have to be involved in the transaction, whether you're representing a buyer or a seller. So go where they are at, and then make yourself the market expert, so then people have the trust to reach out to you and help them throughout their real estate journey. Marketing strategy, I don't really have a favorite. I guess for me personally, it's just showcasing your successes. Whether you help a family get their first home, whether you help them sell, whether you help them get financing, a clear to close, a final walkthrough, an interesting story about a specific home that you saw. Anything like that, I just like to kind of just record it and put it somewhere on social media where people could see it. I think people can relate to you a little bit better. People are motivated by success, so whenever we have a closing, we like to do that as well. And then having a little story behind it, I guess, would also help when people could see that. If a first-time buyer was able to accomplish, they could relate to that. That could be me as well. So just showcasing our wins, our victories, our successes, I think that helps out a lot. So negotiations with buyers and sellers could always be a tricky thing. Ideally, in a perfect world, you want it to be a win-win for all parties involved. So at the end of the day, you have to kind of know what the end goal for each person is and help both buyers and sellers get to that point. What is the win-win for each of them? And then as a real estate broker, your job is obviously to facilitate that communication and facilitate the best result for all the parties involved, especially the one that you're representing. So the process that we have in place here at NF Properties to help clients find their dream home is essentially a list of pre-qualifying questions just to get an idea of what it is that you're looking for. What are your whys? What are your must-haves? What is it that you want to accomplish throughout this process? And then we connect you with the partners that we have that help you on the lending, on the attorneys, the home inspectors, the insurance agents. We have everybody in place to make the process as smooth as possible, and then that way the client can simply focus on what they want to accomplish. So education is huge for us here at NF Properties. So what we like to do is always provide them up-to-date information about what is happening. The market is always moving, and unfortunately the news sometimes is a little bit doom and gloom, right? So we want to make sure that it's not always what you see on the news that you're digesting regarding the real estate market, but you want to be aware of what's happening in your neighborhood, what's going on with your neighbors, and we have that information available to us immediately, where you don't have to wait for 3 to 6 months for it to come up. So we provide you up-to-date information of what's happening, what's going on with the amount of showings, the amount of listings, the time of the year. We're in Chicago, so the weather affects us quite a bit. So you want to know exactly what information is available in real time. So great question. How do I balance my client's need with my own business goals? At the end of the day, my business goal is to just help as many people as possible and not make it anywhere near about money or finances on my end. My first and foremost priority is the client's need. And if I'm able to help the client achieve their goals, then I'm going to have more people to help in the future. And then eventually the business, the financial successes will come. So we make our clients' needs for priority in our company, and we focus that and that only. We've been blessed that we don't have difficult clients, but we do have difficult situations. So whenever a situation arises, we basically like to kind of be the calming force in that situation. So as the client, it's very easy for you, the client, to get emotional, to have an immediate reaction, and that's completely normal. That's completely fine. We encourage that to happen. We want the client to react like any other client would. our job from experience is to understand that that is part of the process, and then provide you with the information that you need to then, once you react, really digest the situation and then make the best decision moving forward. Prioritizing my workload is something that's super key and fundamental to what we do on a daily basis in order to have the best results possible, in order to make myself available for as many people as possible throughout the day. So what I like to do is time block my day where I'm focusing on specific activities throughout the day to maximize my effectiveness and become as efficient as possible, but at the same time give myself flexibility to pivot if something unforeseen comes across. So time blocking my calendar is huge. Communicating with my team and my family of what's in my calendar is also super important, because that way it allows them to have access to me, where if something does come up, they don't feel like they can't approach me with the situation. And that also allows for us to just basically provide a higher quality service, because I'm focusing on the things that get the best results for us. I wish more people knew about real estate, that it wasn't exactly like what you see on TV. So even though videos like this or what you see on social media or on TV is great, there's a lot of emotions that go behind the scenes, whether it's the clients, the buyers and the sellers, whether it's a big investment, whether it's the financing involved. You're dealing with so many people, the clients, the attorneys, the other agents, the other brokerage, the insurance people, the home inspectors. There's so many people involved, and I think a lot of people lose sight of that. They only believe it's just the agent and it's end all be all with the agent, and that's not the case. You will eventually form a little team around you that help you throughout the process, and then there's another team on the other side that represents the opposite party. So knowing that there's a lot of emotions is one thing that I wish people knew about real estate. So again, staying organized and on top of my workload, my calendar is my boss. It's one of the skills that I picked up along the way, where I basically got in the habit of putting it in my calendar, writing it down. I have a great team around me that helps me manage that calendar, from my assistants to also like my wife, who's a business partner. We're all involved in it, where we prioritize what needs to get done, and then we focus on hitting those priority list, the power list that I like to call it, and getting those out of the way. And then everything else that comes along the way with a normal day of business will be tackled in the way that it needs to be tackled. But we prioritize, we communicate, and that's how we stay on top of things. Staying motivated and passionate about your work is something that's super, super important, because without that, then you're gonna not have the results that you need to have. So motivation is something that yes, it's great, but staying motivated for long periods of time is physically impossible. So what I like to do is constantly work on personal development, constantly put good information, consume stuff that gets me in a good state of mind, but then also build the discipline that I know that I need to have to perform at a high level consistently. Because like anybody else, I'm human. I have good days, I have bad days, and on the bad days, I still have to get up, show up, and perform. So future goals for NF Properties is win, and win at a high level. We want to produce a great office with great individuals that have an amazing culture, where we all get along because we're all winning, we're all succeeding, we're all striving to be the best versions of ourselves, and get our company to be one of the best companies in the area.